Okay, guys, so welcome to this week's bootcamp call. Let me start that again. AM bootcamp call. I'm so excited to talk to you guys tonight about fear and just basically the power that fear has over your business. I'll just mute everybody. Can everybody just check that you're muted, please? Okay, so I wanted to talk to you guys tonight. I'm so excited to talk to you guys tonight about fear and just basically the impact that fear can have on your business. And I really wanted to, I know for me, the more I understood about fear, like even just basically the power of, you know, the way our minds work and understanding the science, I suppose, behind fear and how much it grounds us, the more I understood how important it was to condition my mind to work with fear instead of trying to work against it, instead of trying to ignore it and basically staying paralyzed by it, but understanding how it works so that I can work with my fear into the way that obviously towards my goals and towards the things that I really want to achieve and not let it paralyze me. So one thing that I do regularly is read. As we all know, lots of us read. I can guarantee you that everyone in your vice president team and anyone that you follow, they read. And one thing that I read regularly is Theodore Roosevelt's speech from 1910. It's a very, very famous speech, and it is something that just makes my heart flick and it inspires me. And when we're in that moment of inspiration is the only time we will ever do anything that has a bit of courage in it, ever. Motivation, poof, forget it. Motivation will work in a second, but inspiration is where that true courage, like I said, comes from. So it's by Theodore Roosevelt, and it was his speech in 1910. And the main part that I read, it's called In the Arena. And it says, I'm just going to read it. It says, I've got lots of notes tonight to keep me on track because those of you who do trainings with me know I get on tangents very easily and my 10-minute trainings can go for a very long time. So I made notes to really stick to the agenda. So the speech goes, it's not the critic who counts, even that in there. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man in the arena whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives violently, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best, in the end, knows the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails daring greatly. How incredibly powerful is that? So powerful. So, like, I love how he says in there, it's not the critic who counts. How much do we get hung up? Our biggest fear is what people think. So much. It's, what would you do in your business tonight after this call tomorrow if you knew that no one would say anything about you that would upset you? What would you go out and do? Isn't it insane how much that holds us back and keeps us playing small? It keeps us playing so small, it's almost suffocating. So, and at the end of the day, to me, it's not about winning or losing. This thing called, fear that holds us there, it keeps us playing small and keeps us thinking about winning or losing. And to me, it's not about winning or losing. It's about showing up in life and being seen. And when we do that, we lead the example for our children, for our loved ones, for everyone to have the courage to show up and be seen and not let the critics hold us back or whatever our fear is. Our fear in ourselves, it's either fear in ourselves or fear of what others think. And I'm going to talk about fear of ourselves later as well. And the reality is too, guys, there's only one guarantee. There's only one guarantee that comes with showing up, and that comes with great courage. And that is that you're going to get your butt kicked. If you come into the arena, when you come into something and give it everything you have, you know, when you dive into that pool, when you slam that back door closed, it is inevitable that you're going to get your butt kicked at some point, and it hurts. You know, you're going to feel the failures. There is no success ever without failures, and from them we learn and we learn and we grow, and that's how it works. But you're going to get your butt kicked. And the third thing, like in lines of this, is, and I got this from the beautiful Brene Brown, who I just adore. I just love her so much, and I follow her all the time. And if you haven't read the book Daring Greatly, I know that you have so many books recommended to you all the time, but it's another one for your list because it is absolutely fantastic. If you're not in the arena, if you're not diving in, if you're not giving this thing, if you're not showing up in life and you're in the cheap seats and you're just throwing a comments and you're a critic, I am not interested in your feedback at all. I am not interested in what you have to say about my business, about how I'm doing things, because you're in the cheap seats. You're not out there giving it a go. You're not leading the example that I'm passionate about. You don't have the bank account that I want to have. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not interested in your feedback. It's so powerful, guys. So there are there are 5 main things that we're afraid of about failure. I want to talk tonight about the 5 things that really keep us frozen in our fear, and the 5 reasons why we're afraid of failure. And basically, the 5 reasons people never start, the 5 reasons people never actually commit to something. And number 1 is failing causes us to be emotionally stuck. Isn't it true that through all the good times we have in our life and good achievements, we put them in our pocket, and all the bad times and the things that really we failed at, we hold in our heart? How insanely true is that? So negative experiences affect us so much more deeply than positive ones. We literally beat the crap out of ourselves. We could do 100 great things and one bad thing in there, one failure, and that will live in our heart forever, and we'll forget about the good things. And we'll always compare that one bad thing to other people's great things. And it's this constant thing that's unfair that we do to ourselves. So that's one thing. The second thing is failing causes us to feel mentally defeated. So I love this quote. The quality that distinguishes a successful person, oh, that must be Kel logging in. The quality that distinguishes a successful person from an unsuccessful person who is otherwise like him is the capacity to manage disappointment and loss. So true. So it always boils down to how well you can handle your losses and your failures. Always. The third thing is failures create a gap between I did and I should. So failures can create this cycle in our lives, a very negative cycle. And failure, especially when it's piled up on top of each other, leads to insecurity. And when we're insecure, we doubt ourselves. This causes us to hesitate when making decisions. And, you know, I don't know if you guys have all heard Cass's training about hesitation so powerfully, but the moment our failures start to pile up a little bit, we start to hesitate on our decisions. The moment we start to hesitate on our decisions, we don't do what needs to get done. We don't do what we know that we should do. And it's this negative cycle that keeps going around and around. We get reluctant to do things. And then where a gap like this is created and isn't overcome, success becomes nearly impossible. The fourth thing is failure. The first failure is often not our biggest failure. So if we respond to our first failure in the wrong way, the loss becomes even greater and often leads to other failures. And as we know, our failures go up and up, and our confidence goes down and down when we get into this cycle. So the most important person we can ever talk to is yourself. So be careful what you say. It's inevitable that you're going to have that first failure. Don't be afraid of that. Embrace it. It's an opportunity to learn. And the fifth one is all about that. It's all about learning. The fifth one is failure never leaves us the same. And I want to just share a quote with you guys, not a quote, something that a very famous coach, Paul Richards, once said. If you can say the moral of your club is still good after losing 10 out of 12 games, then your intelligence is a little low. And I know that sounds a little bit brutal, but isn't it true? Like if you're doing 10 out of 12 product presentations and 10 you're selling nothing and 12 and at the other 2 you're selling a couple, and you're still staying positive and doing the same thing and keeping on going, and like you've got to learn from these mistakes and grow from them. It's so, so important. Otherwise that failure thing starts to kick in, and that's where that fear comes from, which affects the way we keep moving forward. Does that make sense? Can everyone nod with me if you're following where I'm going? If you want to overcome adversity and keep from being defeated by your losses, we need to get past them and we need to learn from them. Yes, all losses hurt, but we must not allow them to control us. We can't let the fear of negative consequences keep us from taking risks. So what we need to do is really look at fear and flip it. So when you look at fear right now, the things you fear the most, 9 times out of 10, as I said before, it's what people think of us and if we can actually do it. It's what people think of us and our potential. The belief in our potential are the 2 biggest things that we fear. And instead of being so fearful of them that it stops us showing up and being seen, be fearful of the consequences of not showing up and being seen. Think about them regularly. Think about the consequences of not following through with what you said you were going to do. Think about the consequences of not creating the life that you want to create. Think about the consequences of not leading by example for your kids. Think about all those sort of consequences, because the fear of that just drives me. Like, it drives me so hard. It's insane. I constantly am thinking about that, and every day it makes me show up to the best version of me for them, regardless of what people think around me. And it makes me show up to learn and condition my mind daily so that my kids will do the same. And anyone who's looking at me and inspired by me will do the same and want to show up and condition their mind as well. So, my mum, so I get so off on a tangent. So be afraid of missing out and be afraid of not being there, because the sooner we do something about our problems, and I mean really do something, really step up, the sooner they go away. Because the reality is our problems are never going to go away. If you wake up in the morning, and I talk about all this stuff because I still have some of this stuff and I'm still overcoming this stuff, and I remember these feelings so well. But I remember as a consultant when I first started this business, waking up in the morning with that in the pit of my stomach. It was a problem. It was a financial problem that we had that was there every day, and it was causing so much pressure in our house. And then it was the freedom problem as well, because we were tied in a town that we didn't want to be in. We were so far away from the people that we wanted to live near and all these things. But just ignoring that problem and going back to bed, it's going to be there again in the morning, and it's going to be there again the next morning until I step up and show up and do something about this problem in such a big way. So, and then you can start living on the other side of it. So how do people go from that fear of being frozen up against the wall and not able to move forward and worried about what people think and their potential, to conditioning their mind to just go for it? How does that happen? How is there like a snap there? And I guess like we all know that the biggest thing that excites people is progress. Yeah, can everybody agree with that? How amazing does it feel when you do something you should have done? It feels incredible. When you eat that healthy meal at dinner and now you're full and you're like, I'm so glad I ate that. I feel so great. When you make that follow-up call and they order something else, you're like, yes. Like whenever you do anything. And that's what makes people buy a startup kit. So many people buy a startup kit because that's feeling like progress towards their problem. Or they'll buy a great personal development book because it's progress towards their problem. But the fear, our fear, if we don't get a grip on this thing called fear, we won't even book the first presentation. We'll put in a half effort in inviting people to our launch. We'll I see it happen all the time. Random invites go out 3 days before the launch instead of being prepared earlier, and all this stuff starts to happen. The personal development book goes up on the shelf and it's lucky to be read past the first 2 chapters, because the book makes us feel like we need to do things and move forward, and the fear is overriding that. So it goes up on the shelf and we stop ourselves from doing it because it's uncomfortable. So we've got to condition that fear to move through that first. So People only push through that fear when they're in a peak state, as I was saying earlier. So that's why I find reading so fantastic. Some people find listening to an audio so fantastic. Some people find an intense job so fantastic because it puts you in that peak state where you feel unstoppable and where you're going to tackle it and where you're going to show up. And only when you're in that state will that ever happen. Who can understand where I'm going with that? Who's read something and like, you know, sometimes if I get such a great book, I'll get halfway down the first page and I have to stop because a million ideas just come to me that I have been searching for the past 6 months and I can't find them anywhere. And I'll get into a paragraph and be so inspired that I put it down and I'm like on the phone for the next hour and I'm like, oh, I thought of this person and that group down there and all these things. And a week ago I was telling Stacey on the phone that I have no one left to talk to. There is nobody left in this entire town. I don't know a single other person. And then it's like, where did these ideas come from? So you've got to get yourself into that peak state. And so often too, most of us are so afraid of not being prepared more than what we have to do. Who can relate to that? Like, who's afraid to book a product presentation because someone might ask them something they don't know the answer to? Or they forget to laminate something and someone asks for something and they don't have the laminate there. Or someone wants to book a one-on-one and, you know, you don't know what, you're worried that you're going to put the wrong product on their skin, or all these things start to come into your mind and it just freezes you because you don't know, you feel unprepared. That is where mastery comes into your business in such a big way. And I love how Tony Robbins says, pick a subject and master it for the week and then move on to your next subject. So, you know, this week, you might say, right, I'm going to spend half an hour a day mastering product presentations. I'm going to reach out to my sponsor and say, exactly what do you take to your product presentation? What do you have laminated? What's in your folder? Can you send me a photo of it? What do you take in your kit? Have that mastered. You can YouTube so many different product presentations and watch it happen everywhere. You can watch them on iDesign. You can check them out on YouTube. You can check them out everywhere. You can write down what people say and create your own script that sounds like you. I've had so many people reach out to me and say, I just feel scripted with the script, like it's not how I talk. And I'm like, great, let's make your own. Yes, go researching and make your own. You've got that script as a guide for you of the, you know, your greens, like your most essential things that need to be in your product presentation, and then make it you. Because guess what? That's what people want to see the most anyway, is you. They're just inspired by someone who's showing up and really doing this thing. So show them a piece of that. And then, you know, next week you might want to focus on your business appointments. So you're going to do half an hour a day. You're going to watch Discover Arbonne every day by someone different for a week. And you're going to take as many notes as you can. And the following week you might go, right, I'm going to study the RE9 range. Master each area, because I can guarantee you when you feel prepared, so much fear literally drops away. The fear of your own potential never drops away. It lessens, but it'll never go away. That's a fear that you can kick out the door. You don't need to carry that around. Get prepared. Just start mastering it. It's not about going tonight and sitting on your computer until 2 a.m. and trying to do everything. It's being consistent, chunking it down and doing it bit by bit every day so that by the end of the year, you have the qualities and skills of an MVP. You've got that stuff mastered. Okay. The breakthrough happens by conditioning your mind every day, as I was just saying. The main difference between someone taking action or not is one word, and it's certainty. It's such a powerful word. It is so, like, when you are absolutely certain that when you do this, you're going to get these results and it's going to fix this problem, that is when you become unstoppable. When you have that certainty of you'll make a way if there isn't a way there already. Like, you're certain that you're going to show up and you're going to do this to create this, to fix this. And you have to believe that. And it's like, a lot of us live in the middle, right? We live in this land where we're a little bit uncertain. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't work. We kind of sort of do it. We kind of sort of get results. We kind of sort of think that we can. And that's where fear just thrives, right? It just like feeds on you in such a big, big way. So I want you to imagine, if you've got a piece of paper even, just like draw it into 4. So you've got 2 boxes on top, 2 boxes below. And in the top box on this side, what's at your left or whatever, it doesn't really matter. I want you to write the word potential. This is all about mindset, guys. It's all how you see it through your mindset. And the potential is like, right, what's the potential here? And I'm such a believer that if I've seen someone else do it, that's the potential. So the potential of this business, if you really want to be specific, our top income earner, off my head, I remember hearing once that she earned around 350,000. I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was something along those lines per month. So that's roughly the potential that has been achieved now. Not what you could achieve. You could blow that out of the park, but that's like roughly how I look at it. That's, here's a great example. Roger Bassinter, I think is his name. After he ran the 4-minute mile, it had never been done before. After he did it, within 2 years, 37 people done it after him. The power of when someone else does it and you realize it's doable, that's the potential. That's the bar. And once you believe that that can happen is when it truly can happen. But anyway, I'm getting off track. Next to that, I want you to write action, because action is what determines the results, obviously. It determines everything. And then underneath action, I want you to write belief. Most people have a belief on how much potential they have. And then that, how much potential you think you have, inspires how much action you'll take. And then that goes on. And underneath potential, I want you to write results. So it goes potential, then it goes results, belief. I think I gave them to you the wrong way around. And your belief is what inspires your potential, which inspires your action, which inspires your results. So can you see how fear of your potential can literally control your entire life, your entire business, your parenting, your everything? What you believe is your potential is the effort that you will apply to follow through with that. So if you look at your potential in your business and think, me personally, I know some people have done EMBP, but my potential is probably going to be a district. That's going to be the effort that you apply to your business, so you'll become a district. You won't move past that. If you believe that your potential is to be a nation, you will go at that and you have that certainty in your mind that you're going to be an MVP, and believe that that's your potential, you're going to have the effort to match that, which is going to give you the results. You're going to take the action of that quality. Does that make sense? So the little of the belief in your potential, the little of the action, the little of the results. And that's how it works. And that's how the richer get richer and the poorer get poorer. Because what happens is, who's had this happen to them before? You knew before you got to the product presentation that it probably wasn't going to be very good. So you get to the product presentation and it's pretty average. You get one sale or whatever. You've driven miles. The whole woe is me starts to kick in. So your results at the your effort and action at the presentation is pretty woe is me as well to match it. You kind of sort of flicking stuff out and you don't even talk about the business. You just skip them slides. And then your results from that is woe is me. And then you get to the end and you say to yourself, see, I told you this probably wasn't going to work. I knew that I shouldn't have done all this. It was so much effort. Why did I do all this? Who's had that? Who's gone through that? And it gets littler. So then what happens next time is your belief in your potential is even smaller. And it's this vicious circle that just keeps happening. You flip that. This is something that I've had happen, and I can guarantee you so many others have too. When you read and grow yourself and up your belief in your potential, you tell yourself, I'm going to go and rock this party and I'm going to do such a great party. I've been mastering it all week. I have such certainty that this is my presentation. I'm going to find a business builder at this party and it's going to be amazing. And I study and study and study and study and study. I get to the presentation, blow it out of the water. A couple people want to join the business. I'm getting party bookings. It's all happening. I'm excited. I'm so prepared. I've got everything. It's rocking out. My action is at that level. My results then come through at that level. And guess what? My belief ends up. Told you were a rock star. Wait till the next one. And then the next one's even better. And it's exactly the cycle of how the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. It's all a mindset and believing in your potential. getting a grip on that fear and not letting it convince you that your potential is any lower than what you truly desire in this world and what you truly want to achieve, and not letting it hold you back from showing up and doing the best that you can damn well do. So I get so like, on this subject. So where am I up to? Because I've lost everything. What if something could come along and believe with absolute certainty? I already said all that, which will boost your belief. Yeah, I just spoke about all of that already. Okay, so how do you get rid of that uncertainty, right? So whoever feels like this sounds great in theory, but how do I get rid of that uncertainty? Because it's just eating in my mind all the time, right? Can people relate to that? You feel good right now, and then you're going to go to bed tonight and lay there and go, yeah, she spoke so great, but I don't know if I could ever do that. And it starts already. Like, who understands the chimp, how we talk about the chimp, the back part of our brain, right? You have like two parts of your brain. This is like scientific fact. The back part is like your primal part. The front part is like your human, logical thinking mind. Back part runs on emotion. The back part of your mind is constantly active and is ready for the moment that you calm down to tell you otherwise, basically to tell you, no, that's not your potential. Come on, you're being silly. Do you really think that you're going to get a white Mercedes? Do you really think you're going to go to Maui every year? Do you really think that? Can you see yourself presenting on these calls? And you start, this itty bitty shitty committee starts to just drill you, and that fear starts to bring the walls in. And it just happens like that. And that's why you hear us say all the time, you've got to condition your mind. It's not something that's done overnight. It's something that comes from relentless, consistent reading and growing. It's the only thing that will allow you to get that grip on fear that you need and get you to get up and show up with inspiration instead of trying to do it out of motivation. So, don't allow yourself to negotiate with your mind, with your hesitations. Don't let your brain, trick you into staying in that fearful state. You've got to trick your brain, basically, and say to your brain, we're not settling, like you're in this together. We're not settling for a life any smaller than what we deserve and what we desire. So I hear you. I acknowledge that that's something to be fearful of, because I remember Cass explaining to us once too that the way our makeup is when we hesitate on something, our brain goes, she's fearing something. Why? Stop now, because it could be dangerous. That's our makeup. That's how we're made. So we're constantly working against our grain. It's a tough gig to be outside your comfort zone all the time to achieve big, great things. You're going against the grain of your mind. So you have to trick it and you have to work with it. I acknowledge that you're fearful that they might think that of me if I ask them, but I'm going to do it anyway, because what if this happens? I'm going to ask them for that presentation anyway, because what if they say yes and decide to join my business? Or what if they say yes and their best friend decides to join my business? It's worth the risk. And guess what, guys? We hold on to this thing so deeply of what other people think. And the reality is most people can't really think past themselves for very long anyway. People are very busy in their own world. I don't say that like, in a bad way. We're all like that. Who has so much stuff going on sometimes that they don't even have time to think bad things about other people. I never have time to think bad things about other people. I've got way too much going on, way too much positivity to focus on. But just let that go, guys. You've got to let that go. It's such a crucial, important step in this business. Everyone has fear. It's the human mind. You have to train yourself to say, I have the fear, but I'm going to do it anyway. There's a great rocking chair exercise. Tony Robbins calls it the rocking chair exercise, and it's fantastic. When you're feeling fearful of something, picture yourself at 85 years old, you're on the porch and you're in a rocking chair. Picture your life if you learn to work with these fears. If you condition your mind to up the belief in your potential, and you condition your mind to stop worrying about what other people think and just did tomorrow, like I said before, what would you do tomorrow if you were not worried about what other people thought one bit? What would you go out there and do? Imagine your life as an 85-year-old on a rocking chair, the memories that you'll be sitting there thinking about. Imagine the example you would have led. Imagine the lives you would have changed. Imagine the adventures you would have went on. Can you even begin to imagine? Imagine the stresses that you have right now that you won't have anymore. Imagine all of that. And now imagine if you hold on to these fears, if you continue to worry about what people think, if you continue to stay backed up against the wall, you'll be 85 waking up still worrying about paying that stupid bill because I never showed up back then because I was so worried that people would judge me for it. Or I never showed up back then because I didn't back myself like I should have. Because you will learn later on by then that you're actually pretty amazing. You have a massive heart and you were born for something big and that you can create whatever you want. We're like the smartest people on the planet. Like if other people have done it before us, well, we're the only type of people, and we're the smartest species. See, if I can do this, anyone can do this. Oh, funny. Train your brain that when you say you're going to do something, you do it. No matter how you're feeling, no matter if you're feeling fearful, no matter if you don't feel like doing it, train yourself that you're going to do it anyway, and that then you will have the freedom that most people will only ever dream about. That is it for me tonight on fear. I want to end on a call to action. I'm all about call to action. It's so great to talk about these things and feel inspired, but where the real life-changing stuff happens is in massive action. The first thing is to really start conditioning yourself. Choose a topic and study it. Choose a topic, one topic per week. No more than one topic per week. There is no such thing as multitasking. I know we're women and we would like to argue this topic because we think we're good at it, but the reality is we're not. It kills brain cells and you just do a heap of jobs not very good. So focus in on one topic and master it. Master it. Pick a topic in your business and also work on yourself daily, every day. It's conditioning yourself to become the person you need to become to achieve these things. And the second thing, which is part of your DMO anyway, but the second thing is I really want you to get out there and ask people like you're not worried about what they're going to have, what they're going to think. Ask them because they deserve to see your products. Ask them because they deserve to be offered the business. And ask them because you deserve to show up in life and be seen for what you believe in and what you're truly all about. So that's it from me on fear. Where are you, Kelly Budnick? Me and Kel are going to do a quick role play for you guys on following up after offering the business, which ties into the ask as well with the call to action. Are you there, Kel? You might just have to unmute yourself. I can't hear you.
Yeah, sure am, babe.
Yeah. Cool bananas. How are you?
Good. How are you? You just rocked that. That was amazing.
Thank you. I'm excited to do a little role play with you.
Yeah, so basically what I was going to do was I can do it now, but otherwise I was going to do a video on it. But it's just literally about, you know how Danny's just put the call to action about asking like you're not fearful. So there's a little bit of the ingredient that we were all talking about that we feel is missing, and it's the asking for the follow-up once you've asked them to join your business. Does that make sense? So Danny and I are just going to go through this. So Danny and I are mates, and I've literally we're talking over messages. I've just flicked Danny a message and I'm like, asked her. So for example, there was a girl the other day, I'll do it exactly like this, make it super easy for you. And she goes, I'm having trouble finding a job. Danny says this to me. So you go, Danny, and we'll go from there.
Okay. So I'm having trouble finding a job actually, Kel.
And then, all right. Okay. Are you, babe? This is in text messages, okay?
Okay.
Are you, babe?
I am. Yeah.
You should come and work with me. If you're open to it, would you have a look at, what it is that I actually do?
Yeah, I would look at anything at the moment, for sure.
Awesome. I think it would be such an incredible, opportunity and just another option for you to take a look at.
Okay.
And then I would say to Danny, this is the key bit, what I'm going to pass on to you guys now, okay, because these are the steps that are missing. So I've asked Danny in a real casual way. She said yes. Doesn't matter how you ask. The askings, you've had heaps of training on that, right? This is the next bit's crucial. So in a text message, like Danny said, yes, okay, I'm open to it. So I literally send this out. I go, excellent. Okay, with your permission, I'm going to do the following. Number one, and I list these things. Number one, add you to a Facebook group so you can check out what we do, what the business opportunity is, and the community and culture we have. Number two, tag you in a video to watch that goes for 20 to 30 minutes. Number three, send you a few quick links via Facebook Messenger. How does this sound, love?
Yeah, that sounds great.
So, and then I would go, perfect. And does Thursday or Friday suit to have a quick, 15 to 20 minute catch up in person? We can go for a coffee, or we can catch up over Skype. Hang on, I forgot what I said. We can catch up over Skype to answer any of your questions that you have after you've watched the videos and had a look at the links.
Yep, I can do Friday after work on Friday.
Perfect, like 4 p.m?
Yep, great.
Excellent. Then I would do all the stuff I said I'm going to do. I would say, excellent, locked in, do all the stuff I said I'm going to do. I add it to the Facebook page. I go through those 3 steps. I flicker the links via Messenger, and I literally text message Jenny back, hey, love, I've just done those 3 things above, and I've locked in 4 p.m. on Thursday. How does this sound? You still good for this? Literally, even though it was 20 minutes later.
Yep.
You're still good for this?
Yeah. Sorry. I'm like listening. Like,
you're thinking. And I'm like, yeah, you're still good for this? And so Danny writes, yes. And okay, then the week goes on. I would literally flicker a message, hey, honey, how you going? Like just a normal chat, because we're really good friends, okay? You can even do this if you're not really good friends. And we have a chat, so I do that to Danny. And then on Thursday, I would message her, as I would do anyone, really looking forward to tomorrow. What sort of coffee do you like? Let's go to, coffee club or whatever. And, I'm really looking forward to seeing you. And then Danny would write back, oh, whatever. Go, Danny.
Yeah, sounds great. I'm looking forward to seeing you too. I'm so excited to hear about this and know what you're talking about.
And then I would literally also say, have you enjoyed the links? If I wanted to get chatting with her further, but most of the time I would just leave it there. So the purpose of this whole message thing that we've just done, and the reason why we've done this is because, you've had a call to action many times about asking. Cherie did the call to action for the 40 faces. And after a few coaching calls that I did last week, what I realized, and what a few of the, regions realized, is that you're asking now. You are asking. But what happens is, you've been asking for a couple of weeks. You may get a couple of no's. Danny's call tonight has been absolutely brilliant, because then fear sets in if you're not always getting the results that you want or that expect. Now, not everything goes as smooth as this, even up to the point I could meet Danny, have a coffee with her, speak to her about the business opportunity, but, she just may not be into it or interested in it. But a lot of the time, if you meet someone, exactly like Danny said, you go in with that mindset and that intention that what you're showing and sharing with them is 100%, going to absolutely help them, and they're going to love it. You always go in thinking that. There's never a business appointment I go in ever thinking, oh, I wonder if they're going to join. I just don't do that. But the key bit is that you guys are asking, the fear training is amazing, but what you're missing is the missing link of telling them how you're going to do it. You ask whichever way you can. As Danny said, you alter the scripts to suit you. The scripts are there, so you get a rough idea. If we don't have the scripts, you're asking for them. We have the scripts, you use them word for word, and it doesn't suit you. So what you've got to do is read them and make them yours, like Danny said. Keep the structure and everything the same. A slight word change is not really going to alter whether you get a yes or not. It'll make you feel more comfortable as though it's coming from you. But you can't cut out the key ingredients to an ask. You've got to actually know what you're asking them to do. You're not asking them to look at Arbonne. You're asking them to look at a business opportunity. Okay, so that's really important. But once you've asked, however you've asked, and we can do more role plays on that later, it's so important that you go into the correct formula after that. You've asked, You know, if they're open and willing to take a look at a business opportunity, they've said yes. Once they say yes, I'm going to repeat it again. Go into exactly this, if it's via message or whatever. Excellent. Okay, with your permission, I'm going to do the following. 1, add you to a Facebook group so you can check out, you know, what the business opportunity is about, the community and the culture that we have. Number 2, tag you in a video that goes for 20 to 30 minutes. Number 3, send you a few quick links via Facebook Messenger. You can even, you know, say, you know, it's just a couple of videos, goes for 4 minutes, whatever, but I wouldn't put that in. I'd just leave it really, you know, set. And then I always write, so how does this sound? And they always write back, yes, that sounds great. Do it. I'm so excited. So then I go, excellent, perfect. 3 days later, 2 days later, I usually give 3 days. I would say, great. Does Thursday or Friday suit you to have a quick, you know, 15 to 20 minute catch up? We can go for a coffee if you live in the same town. If you don't live in the same town, you say, oh, we can catch up over Zoom or Skype. I say Skype because people know what Skype is, okay? You say Zoom, they're like, what's Zoom? So I say Skype, and then before the catch-up, I would explain to them what Zoom and stuff are. It's just one less thing that they have to think about. They're focused on what they're doing. And then, you know, just Thursday or Friday, so we can have a quick catch-up over Zoom, Skype. I can answer any of the questions that you've got, and this should give you enough time to watch the videos. How does that sound? Confirm the follow-up. That's the key, that next step. Once they've given you permission to add them in and do the first 3 steps and they've said yes, confirm the follow-up, because what's happening is they're saying yes, you're doing those 3 steps super casually, you don't have intention and you're not setting it for the follow-up. So you do that and then 4 days go past, you never told them you were going to follow up with him, and then it's awkward. And then you feel uncomfortable because now you're thinking, oh, I wonder if she's watched them. Should I go back and message her? Shouldn't I go back and message her? You go back and message him or her. They've ignored you. You're like, oh, crap. They don't want to look at it. They've looked at it. They hate it. Do you know what I mean? You've got to have intention and purpose with what you're doing. You're asking them to look at a business opportunity. Arrange the follow-up. It's a normal thing you do. Tell them that's what you're going to do. Don't just say to them, okay, hon, I'll check in you in 3 days and see if you've watched the links. Because that, again, is playing small. Check in with them in 3 days. They may not have watched the links because you've not arranged a follow-up call, and then it goes on and on and on and on. Because then you say, great, okay, that's okay, hon, you haven't watched the links. You know, when do you think you'll watch them by? Then they don't see the message for another 2 days. Do you know what I mean? You've got to have the intention that what you're doing is you've offered them a business opportunity. You're a professional, you've told them exactly what you're going to do, and then you arrange the follow-up meeting in that exact same, through messages in the exact same time. Okay, like it's so important to have that follow-in booked up. Now, if you're thinking, oh my goodness, I have asked 20 people in the last 2 weeks, they're all wasted asks because I did not arrange the follow-up. Because I know that's what some of you are thinking, and you've got sweaty armpits sitting there right now that I've said that. Arrange the follow-up. But it's not too late. You can come back from this. You can come back from it, okay? So you just quickly go and flick those people a message or someone that you sent the links to, and you come back from it and you go, hey, just checking in, following up, seeing how you went with watching, you know, the videos and stuff. Then they say to you, oh, I haven't really had time to do it. Then simply come back from it and just say, no worries. Are you free in 3 days' time? And go straight into that last message. I know you've got to work, but are you free in, you know, next week, Tuesday or Wednesday, so we can have a quick catch up? You know, 15 to 20 minutes, I can answer any of your questions. Just go back into that last message. You know, because it's super important that you do that. You have got, like, the 4-step process works if you are super tight and professional with every part of that, and not let fear, you know, exactly what Jenny was talking about, get in your way. Cass literally said to us last week, do you think I'm not fearful when I say to a new consultant, I can take you to 10,000 in the first 4 weeks of your business? She goes, of course I'm fearful, but it's not about me. I've got to do it for them. I'm a professional. I know it's possible to get 10,000. So why would I play it small for them? You've got to show them what's possible from the start, from the get-go. Okay, so why would you hold back, you know, asking and sending them everything, but then not arranging the follow-up meeting because you have that fear of doing that? Because once you have the follow-up meeting booked in, oh my goodness, I don't know how to do a follow-up meeting. What am I going to do? Okay, it's exactly related to everything Danny was talking about. This is why we have the Area Manager Bootcamp structured in a particular way. This is why the fear trainings come today, because you've had the asks, okay? So now it's time to get back in, tighten everything up. Nicole Barrett speaks really amazingly about know what you're asking for. Okay, so know what you're asking for. And it's you know, it's just so important to do that bit, have your ask, and then once you've had that, 100%, do that structure, the 3 questions, word it the way you would word it. You might do it a little bit different. You know, you might not send them a few links via Facebook. You might email, whatever you do, but arrange that follow-up call like in the exact same time that you send them that, back and forward while you've got them on the phone, okay, or while you've got them in messages. Because the other thing you've got to remember is when you are offering someone this business opportunity, they join your business, the exact way that they join, you have spoken to them about the business, had the meeting, send them the links and done the process, is the exact way that they're going to do it for their entire business. So you do it properly from day one, and then they will do it as well. It's duplication, okay? So you creating leaders from day one, from the day that you ask them the way you ask them. It doesn't matter if you don't get it right, because guess what? You learn every single day. And, you know, fail forward, because the more failures you have, the more successful you'll be. It's just a no-brainer, okay? So how does that sound, Danny?
Sounds awesome. Sounds spot on. So tonight you've got how to start getting a grip on your fear, and also how to ask spot on. What an awesome training session. I got so much out of that too, Kel. Thank you. That's awesome. The worst part, I think, is when you enter that no man's land. Oh, should I message him back? Oh, should I not? And it comes back to that fear of being prepared. So master these skills, and it's going to help you so much now. And exactly like Kel was just saying, the faster you master them and model it the right way, the faster that you're going to be leading that example for the people who join you, and they're going to do the same thing. So your business is only ever what you duplicate. You can only lead to the capacity you're leading. If you're full of fear, you're only going to sponsor people full of fear. If you're seeing your potential at first step district manager every month, you're going to sponsor people with that same belief in their potential. If you're going for the 10,000, they're going to go for the 10,000. So yeah, believe it, baby. Back yourself all the way.
Yeah, exactly. I love what Nicole just said. Pleasantly persistent with asks and follow-ups. You know, we always say the fortune's in the follow-up. So why not arrange that follow-up while you're in the moment? You are professionals. So you've got to do and run your business like a professional now.
Yeah. Sounds awesome. Is there any questions before we quickly close up tonight, everyone? Congratulations so much for being on the call. I'm so proud of all of you for jumping on the call tonight and being a part of this. These are the gems that will seriously take your business from good to great. So good. Awesome. All right. Well, anything else you want to say, Kel?
Sorry, no, good. No, we're good.
All good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I should say, have the best night tonight, and so good to see you all on, and I'll see you next week. Bye.